Right then, we've got our first Here We Go of the summer. Joshua Zirkzee will be a Manchester United player. I am in love with all of that. I love how INEOS are going to work. I love how they work in relative silence. And I think the speed at which things have been moving is impressive. Now, he didn't walk off the pitch but 12 hours ago or something, wasn't it? Before we get our first Here We Go. And as I'm literally starting this, we get Ruud van Nistelrooy officially announced as well. And as someone's mentioned in the comments, Brian Casey says today will be forever known as the Dutch Day in Manchester. Happy Oranje, everybody. That's all right, isn't it? Not a bad start to the summer there, which means Joshua Zirkzee now will be part of Manchester United's contingent, I would assume, going to America for pre-season. Might even see him involved next week, although I very much doubt it. But I'll give you what's been said and who's been saying it. Fabrizio Romano, exclusive. Joshua Zirkzee to Manchester United. Here we go. United will not trigger the release clause, but pay slightly above the 40 million with better payment terms across 3 years. Joshua Zirkzee signs until June 2029 with the option for a further season. First signing of INEOS's new era. Toto Makato says Joshua Zirkzee set to fly to Manchester. And we are off and we are running. Obviously, there's the Ruud van Nistelrooy stuff. I'll get to that in a second. Matthijs de Ligt, Romano says United and Bayern are close to reaching an agreement on the fee for de Ligt. Bayern insist on 50, but United are structuring the proposal with add-ons included. United want Zirkzee and de Ligt deals done as soon as possible. What is going on? When did we become a competent football club, man? Florian Plettenberg says Manchester United and Bayern are in advanced talks over the transfer of Matthijs de Ligt. De Ligt has informed Bayern that he wants to join United with immediate effect. Verbal agreement between United and de Ligt about a long-term contract is done. Agent Rafaela Pimenta is now working on the final details to get the deal done and sealed. Medical not yet booked. When people are saying that the medical isn't booked yet, you know this shit is close, don't you? We know that this shit is coming. Colin Wilmot in the comments says, get him in nice and early and integrate him into the squad. Love it. Neil Isaac says, I think Kobe sealed the deal on the field. I genuinely think that there was probably, I don't think Kobe sealed the deal. I think there was some knowledge of it. I think Kobe probably said something like, see you in Manchester, lad, and he probably laughed and went, you will. It must have been done as he was on the pitch last night, and it's all just had to be signed off today. And I'm absolutely in love with that. That's happy days. 64 Ahmed says, this is scary, bring back Woo-Wah. Breen Irwin says, number 9 takes Marshall's number. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but that would be a good one to see it does. Jay says, I love that de Ligt has said he only wants United. And isn't he taking a pay cut? That's the rumoured one. Christian Falk saying, an agreement is expected as early as next week for Matthijs de Ligt to Manchester United. I love it. Lawanda says sausage rolls. It might be a sausage rolls thing. David Mulligan says Kobe better than Bellingham. Jace Parker says, Steve, is our club a real club again? I'm not prepared to say that until we're challenging for the biggest titles in football, but we're acting like a big club again. T2 the Izzo says, where's the chaos? Where's the chain-smoking Russian futsal player on deadline day? A8 says we need a right winger now. Ornstein has tweeted on Zirkzee. Let me just head over to the Twitter and see what Ornstein is saying. Ornstein says, Joshua Zirkzee is scheduled to fly into the UK tonight and undergo a medical on Friday ahead of completing the move from Bologna to United. 23-year-old Dutch striker joined United for €42.5 million over 3 years. 5+1 on the contract. There you go. That's all right, isn't it? That's not a bad start to life on a Wednesday. And let me get the Ruud van Nistelrooy one as well. Let me see if we've got that one come through just yet. Here we go. Here it is. Manchester United have appointed Rene Hack and Ruud van Nistelrooy as assistant managers of the men's first team to work under Erik ten Hag until June 2026. Ten Hag, first team manager, said, delighted that Rene and Ruud have agreed to join our project and in a wealth of experience, knowledge and new energy to the start. Ruud van Nistelrooy, tra-la-la-la-la, fucking yeah! Fucking love Ruud. Dan Ashworth, sporting director, said, together with Eric, we are working to strengthen all areas of the men's first team operations and refreshing the coaching staff is an important part of that. Orange Wednesdays. Oh, fucking love it. Yeah, but it's not Wednesday, is it? That was last night. My bad. I don't fucking know what day it is. Do you know how fucking frequently I've been flying lately? I genuinely don't know what day it is. Particular pleasure to welcome Rude back to the club where he enjoyed so much success as a player. I know that he and Rene will help reinforce the winning mentality and high standards we are aiming for. Steve McLaren and Darren Fletcher remain key parts of the staff as senior first-team coach and first-team coach respectively. Mitchell van der Gaag and Benny McCarthy have left the club. So Mitchell van der Gaag is the one who's had the chop. That's interesting. Tanak says Mitchell has decided that now is the right time for him to pursue his own ambitions as a number one position. I want to pay tribute to his service over the last couple of years and also Benny for his important contributions. To send him our thanks and best wishes for the season. Dean says you'll be saying you've been nowhere in November again. I know, yeah. And we've got a busy couple of weeks coming up as well. I'm in Wales next week shooting, and then the week after we're off to America on the tour. Martin says Zirkzee in, De Ligt next, Humland and Euro, and that will be a successful summer. Keith says Ten Hag is cold, Rude is angry, and Hag is a nutter. Who the fuck is the good cop? Steve McLaren is on fucking good cop duties all day long. Although I think Darren Fletcher might be a little bit of a good cop one as well. Ahmed says, what's the latest on Euro? I don't have any latest on him. M says, Rude, absolute incredible striker. Can he play for a few games when we need a goal? Dutch Chester United says Stuo. Fabian Ruiz would be a nice fit at United. What a player indeed. Pezon Vante says first window in years with either no real buys or no panic buys. Wasn't that real? Don't understand that one. Ridwan says Rude return for Greggs. Let's be real, that's our little secret though. Don't let everyone think he's come to be the assistant. CTB says, can we now officially call the striker position sorted now? I think we can. We'll see. Do we need a DM, Steve? Yeah, we do. We absolutely do, yeah. Ben says Darren Fletcher becomes first team coach. My information is that Darren Fletcher was going to become first team liaison, academy first team sort of transition. I don't know what that title is, but yeah, that's what my information was, which I think was from a fucking pretty immaculate source, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. Tino says, I know the Glazers are still here, but since INEOS took over football operations, it feels like they've gone. It does feel like they've gone. They've not. They're still fucking taking cash out the back in a wheelbarrow, but it does, I agree with you, it feels like they've gone a little bit. Hopefully it'll be fully gone in 3 years and we are back to fighting for top trophies. Opinion on missing out for Elise. I don't know if we had the dough for it, to be honest. But yeah, I like Elise. I think he would have been real nice in a United shirt. It's one of those. Oh, right. Sunstrider says, I think he means Galactico signings. Yeah, I thought, yeah. I think you know what you mean, yeah. Colin says, get Euro, Ugarte, and Due in, and that's a top window. Pff, yeah, it would be, yeah. Amaya, is that source real? Listen, just because you see me with people in public doesn't mean that that's the people that tell me anything. Because is that not a bit fucking obvious? If I was getting stuff off Rio, do you think I would sit here and tell it? Because it's very fucking straightforward. I actually don't put anything I get from Rio out in public because it's too fucking obvious when it comes from Rio what it is. No. I get it from people you'll never know and you'll never fucking hear of, or you'll never put two and two together with. Come on, man. Give me a little bit more fucking credit than that. It's so obvious, isn't it? Do you think I'd stay on Rio's podcast if I fucking put out all of the information I got through Rio? Come on, man. Are England winning the Euros? I don't think so. Scott says less than 30% of the earth is covered by land. The other 70% is covered by Kobe Mainu. Ion says, Steve, Amrabat and another 6 would do us good. Yeah, I wouldn't be against us signing Amrabat because you've seen how little cover we've got. And I'd be interested in getting a little bit of cover, I reckon. What happened to Benny McCarthy? He's gone to coach somewhere, hasn't he? What happened to Rio and a Saudi bid? You mean the Qatar bid? I've asked him on air about that. And had his pants off with it. The source that he got from that was pretty fucking good, to be honest. It's about as good as it could be. But sometimes the people that are giving you the information are just chatting shit. But you can't fact check any of that, can you? You got to take things that people say at face value. Andrew says, don't put anything I got from Rio in public after his car crash announcing the Qatari bid. We all know the source is Cam. Imagine. I don't think Cam gets anything, to be honest. Richard says, Amrabat would be a great squad player. Will we see Casemiro going? I'm almost certain Casemiro will be going. Yeah, for sure. 64 Armour says losing Amrabat and Casemiro, only bringing in Ugarte is a downgrade. That's what I think you'd have to bring in Amrabat or someone, unless he thinks like Gore or someone could do it. Scott says after Mitchell van der Gaag turning down the chance to boss Ajax too. Did he do that? I didn't realise he did that. Cy Clay says agent Manu sealed the deal. Flashburn says 4 sleeps up until match day. Can't wait. It's fucking approaching with a quickness in it. Wrigley says Ugarte loan to Bayern, Rabiot on a free for the midfield. See, that's why I think that sort of thing does make sense. I know a lot of people poo-pooed the idea of getting Rabiot in, but yeah, I think that could be a possible one. Nudgeable says still have kids in the car. Language, that's your problem, mate. They're going to learn it anyway. Deal with it. Red Arrow says, don't we need a right winger and a left back? Yeah, the problem is United have been mismanaged for decades, or at least a decade, to the point where you can't do everything you need to do in one window. You can only try and improve, knowing that you've probably got 2 or 3 more windows where you're going to have to do similar sort of things. Arjun says Greenwood to Marseille under De Zerbi. Well, I think there's a little bit of an issue with that one because of the mayor of Marseille saying he don't want him. Not that I think he can do anything, but it's interesting, isn't it? Eon says, afternoon Steve, how things change. We're actually making signings that make sense. How things change. JM just says fish. I don't think you mean will fish. I think, or whatever. I don't know what you mean. Reese says, it feels weird that we aren't really seeing rumours of outgoings. Lindelof, McTominay, Casemiro all staying. But you're not really hearing rumours of anything. I think INEOS have shown us in the short time that they've been here that they do a lot of their work in the quiet. They don't need to do the sort of tactics that United had under Woodward, where it was like, Woodward liked the chase. Woodward liked just being talked about. You know, United fucking spoke about the interactions that they got on a fucking tweet about Nobby Styles. And you're like, what the fuck? No, this is a better run football club with this front office. We haven't seen a lot of it, but that's what we want to have. Did Ten Hag have Joshua Zirkzee at Bayern? I'm not sure, actually. Dark Web says, does Zirkzee join immediate or does he go on holiday? I think everybody that's been involved up to the semi-final stage will probably get the same level of holiday, and I think those involved into the final probably get, you know, an extra couple of days or whatever. Martin says, rude appointment to marinade him for the manager role in a couple of years. You can't help but think that that's a possibility, can you? You can't help but think that there's a good chance that that probably happens. Zach says, what could we get from our possible outgoings? I'm doing a full video on how United can raise about 150 mil, but you know, you can still get plenty of money in. We've got quite a lot of sellable players. It's, you know, who they go to. Keith says, is Collier ready to be a role in the squad? Yes, a role in the squad for sure. He's not ready to be the starter, but I think it'd be interesting to see. I mean, I didn't think Kobe was this ready to be a starter this season, so the kids can surprise you, can't they? It'd be nice to see. It'd be nice to see if he's able to do that, because that'd be fantastic. But I think Collier's sort of targets for this season should be get on the pitch in a first team shirt, and that would sort of be enough. Not enough, but do you know what I mean? Like, that's where he should be thinking, not thinking like, I'll be a first choice player by the end of the season, because it's very unlikely. Evan Soul says, I think Maynard should get an extended holiday. Young and played a lot. Give him a bit more time off and we'll have a monster available. He's not going to lose fitness, is he, at that age? He'll be fine. Ava says, I don't know if we've addressed it already yet, but what are my thoughts on the fee paid for Van der Beek? The initial fees are fucking disgracing it. Like, I can't believe someone sat there for a player that you paid 40 million for and gone 430 grand. Yeah, that sounds perfectly fucking reasonable to me, mate, actually. Yeah, good point, well made. So, I know these add-ons that can take it to somewhere in the region of 15 mil, but that initial fee just seems absolute madness. Brian says, Laurie just tweeted, INEOS figures felt last season there should be changes to the coaching team, but the decision on who has gone and joined belongs to Erik ten Hag. Interesting. Ian says, I think Rude will get the Holland job on the back of doing a good job at United. Oh, that's a shout. Get Mullenstein in as well. Yeah, I'd fucking love Rennie back here. So someone's just said Chris Wheeler is tweeting a lot. Let's just see what he's doing. Let me just pull some of these up. Give us a second. says Steve McLaren stays at United as senior first team coach. Mitchell van der Gaag leaves with forwards Benny McCarthy. Former technical director becomes first team coach Darren Fletcher. Hack and Van Nistelrooy photograph on there. Yep. Interesting. Do I think our squad is big enough to have sales? Yeah. There's a lot of players who just aren't good enough. Van der Beek is basically alone, says Liam. Gary says, what do I think the future holds for Palestri? I don't think so, anything, you know. Union says, Steve, United are acting like a proper infantry battalion, concurrent activities at all levels. Who's going to pick up the brass, though? Someone's got to pick up the brass. Alex says, can we get Jaap Stam as a coach? He's Dutch. We're not just going to get anyone in. Let's get Jordi Cruyff in as well. Fuck it while we're doing it. Pezon Vante says, I don't think Mullenstein rates and Ten Hag or he's jealous. What gives you that impression? Christian says, Mainu whispering, you need picking up for pre-season, pal. Is that what he said? Scott says, thoughts on Robinson from Fulham to come in at left back? Feel like he would have been a cheaper option. Prem experience, plays almost every game for Fulham, barely injured. I think he's a decent player. Yeah, I've not watched enough of him to know if I think you've got potential world class in there, but I think he's pretty decent. Ahmed says, what do I think there will be a midfield surprise in the bag? It's weird how lack of news about midfielders when we know it needs an overhaul. Yeah, I mean, there is talk of quite a few forwards and there is talk of quite a few defenders. And the one place that we absolutely crying out for people, can't really get anybody in. Or there isn't a lot of talk of us getting anybody in. So, yeah, I think there probably is a surprise. Maybe the targets that they're working on are at different international competitions. Maybe the clubs that we're talking to aren't as leaky as maybe Bologna have been. So it's one of those. Peter Kelly with a super chat says Ten Hag, Rene Hack, Rude and McLaren, 4 Dutch coaches at United. Old Dutch Stevie there. Gracing says Xavi Simons is next, given Ten Hag only signs Dutch players. LDT says, any names I've heard that haven't been mentioned in the media? Euro is the only one. Ion says, submitting another bid for Branthwaite seems desperate. This is a good opportunity to break old habits under this new regime. I'm hoping that's what the case is, yeah. Ahmed says Neves. Neves would be good. Movendum says, I would take Robinson if we have a strong defence. Going forward, he's good, puts a good cross in. Mohit says, Ugarte was the option and widely reported. Wasn't that widely reported, actually? No, it was reported. It wasn't, like, completely widely reported. Manchester Maverick says, can't wait for the surprise transfer out of nowhere. I think we'll get one. I actually do think we'll get a surprise random ass transfer out of nowhere. Because I think that INEOS have been doing so much work kind of in the quiet. Look how fast this got done. The guy's barely took his boots off and he's in the door. Reese says, Harry Amash should absolutely be given a chance and some game time at left back this season. I think he gets it. I think he gets that. Pos says, you just broke my headphones chanting Rude. Not sorry. IR says, I reckon Rude would become an elite manager one day. I don't know enough about him. His record was quite similar to Slots in Eredivisie, but again, I haven't watched enough Eredivisie to know is that a good thing or a bad thing. Mighty says, can tell, crazy how we are the only team that can't self-value other teams' self-unheard players for like 20 mil. It's a joke. The Lit on Monday says, Juddy Sports. It would be when I'm fucking busy next week, wouldn't it? Udwa says, is it possible to have Xavi on loan from PSG? I think so. Yep. Woot says Woodward would let him go on holiday and then start talks with Bologna. Emil says, who will be our panic buy this season? It might end up being like a Rabiot, you know. Jonathan says, there feels so much positivity around the club, just so alien. Reg says, Amas needs to build some muscle, though. I think that's fair, to be honest. KC says, Gaitan is only 36. What, really? Stephen Harris says, do you reckon Maguire is screening calls? Chiefs... Sheev says Zirkzee was done last night. Ian Dark said it when he came on. Did he? Didn't hear Arjun says, can we get Garner back instead of Branthwaite from Everton? Throbadelica says, does that mean Ivan Toney is off the cards? I'm not sure, actually. Not sure. And Daniel says, do we play Rosenborg on Monday? Yes, we do. I am preparing a match preview as we speak, which feels a bit mad considering that the Euros are still on and we're not on pre-season or anything yet. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. And on that note, I'm going to go continue doing that. But that's fantastic. Little bit of positivity, isn't it? I'm absolutely delighted. So nice one. And I would say if you are a member of Stretford Paddock FC, you might want to check the Telegram group. And if you're not in the Telegram group, then go and check any of the last half a dozen emails. The link to the Telegram group is in there because there is another pre-order about to drop for you guys for this season's away kit. And it's a fucking banger. That's all I'm saying. Public aren't going to see it for 2-3 more weeks. You lot can go and see it. And I think even buy it today. Take it easy. Have a fucking wonderful whatever day you call it. Apparently I call it Wednesday. See you in a bit. Bye-bye. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.